So we're back for models 3 and 4, and this time we are going to investigate comparing or see who's going to win the race. We're going to compare 7/10. Go ahead and write that with me. 7/10 and 53 hundredths. 53 hundredths. So if you'll go ahead and write those two values on your paper, we're going to go ahead and figure out who is going to win the race when we have 7/10 and 53 hundredths. So the first thing that I'm going to do, just like we did before, is we're going to shade our model to show 7/10. So when I look at model 3, I can see that this model is cut into 10 equal pieces, and I need 7 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and outline it first, and then I'm going to shade 7 of those pieces. So we have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, and 7/10. Okay, so we have 7/10 represented here. We have 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. These are all equal in size, and we have 7 of them, so we have 7/10. Next thing that I'm going to do is represent 53 hundredths. So when I look at this model, I notice that this particular model is cut into 100 equal pieces, and I need 53 of them. Well, I know one of these rods has 10 equal pieces, so I'm going to need 5 of these, because that will give me 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And make sure that I counted those correctly. I have 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10. So that's 5/10, which is what I have represented by the 5 being in the 10th place. And then I need 3 more of those, 3 more units. So I'm going to shade them 1, 2, 3. Okay, that gives me my 3 hundredths. Alright, so when I look at this and I see that we have our model shaded, it looks like I have more represented in model 3 than in model 4. That would be one way to compare it, because I have 3 that are left unshaded here, and I have more than 3 that are unshaded here. So that tells me that 7/10 is greater value than 53 hundredths. Another way to compare those numbers is to line them up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to think about this being my ones place, and I'm going to put my decimal point here, and this is my tenths place and my hundredths. Make sure that you're following along with me and you're marking your paper. And when I think about the value 7/10, I don't have any ones. I'm going to put my decimal on this line, and I have 7/10. When I think about the value 53 hundredths, I don't have any ones in this number either. And I'm going to put my decimal point here, and I have 5/10 and 3/100. And a lot of boys and girls think that just because this one has more numbers that it is the greater value. But if I go back and I just add a 0 here, because we can put a 0 at the end, thinking about this being 70/100 instead of 7/10, and we think about comparing our numbers from left to right, we can see that this number, 7/10, is much bigger than 5/10, which makes it bigger than 53/100. Another way to look at these numbers is again on the number line. And so if I were to think about this number line being between the number 0, because I don't have any wholes, and the very next whole number being the number 1, and thinking about what could be between the number 0 and the number 1, I would think about money. And when I think about money, I think about 50 cents being the in-between amount. So if I mark that on my number line like so, and then I think about what could I do with these amounts? Well, I could separate them in groups of 10. And so I could have this as 1/10. This could be 2/10. And this could be 3/10 and 4/10. Then we have 5/10 or 50/100. Continuing on, we have 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, and 9/10. And if I were to represent the amount 70/100 or 7/10, I would go all the way to the number 7. So I'm going to shade that with my pencil on top of the line. And then I'm going to trade, and I'm actually going to use another color to represent 53/100. I'm actually going to go below the number line. So I would have all of these tenths all the way up to 50/100. And 53/100 would be just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So I can see very easily when we're comparing, if I were to think about this in terms of a race and who were winning, 7/10 would be a bigger winner than 53/100. So again, we could write that by using our greater than and our less than signs. And I could say that 7/10 is greater than the value 53/100. Or we could start off by saying 53/100 is less than 7/10. All right, I'll see you back for the next problem.